Good morning all. It's Wednesday morning, just with the combine at the moment. So last night, obviously, as I signed off, there was a bit of a problem with some knocking on the combine, but they carried on. I haven't actually spoken to Dad as yet, but can't have been anything too serious. They managed to get that field finished. If I just turn the camera around and give you an idea of where they've got to. They finished the 6 hectare field that we were in. Then through the farm, there's a 3.5 hectare field here, which is split by this concrete track. And then there's a 5.5 hectare field at the other side, which they've done 2 outside rounds in and a few of the inlands. So here's the combine in all its glory. Last week we obviously had some fans of YouTube watching harvest, and today there's a big fan watching again. It's always nice to see them. Dad's just on his way here. The tractors are all on their way up, and we will crack straight on as soon as they arrive. Dad's here with the fuel bowser. Get the combine filled up, ready to go for another day. He'll be moving blocks later, so I need to just organise a way of getting the pickup down to the next block, so that it's not stranded here, and that Dad's not stranded come the middle of the night when he wants to go home. So to fill the combine with fuel and AdBlue, not quite as simple as the other machines. Got to get up and open that side panel. Thankfully we've got long enough hoses on the bowser. So every morning Dad will just come up, go through the machine quickly, check everything over, grease anything that needs greasing before the trailers get here. Then he's ready to go as soon as possible. Little update for the regular viewers that saw the maintenance that went on the combine header pre-harvest. You can see these yellow skids starting to wear. You can walk across. If you didn't hear that, I said starting to wear. Dad used a different one-letter phrase to describe them. First tractor and trailers here this morning. It's Harry in the 370 with the Joskin Drakkar. I was checking operations centre to see whereabouts the guys were to this morning to decide whether or not to come here first. And I see Harry went a different route to the rest of them, so it would seem that route is quicker. So we're now going. You can see there's a bit of a rough patch in the field there. So we are now a go for today. We'll finish off the rest of this field, move on up to the last field in this block, which is a 25-acre field up the road, and then shoot across. About half an hour away we've got another 40-45 acres to pick up. Hopefully get that sorted this afternoon. As you can see, it's a still day, warm day. perfect for the combine. Dad's just on his way back down again. I've just loaded Ronnie back up in his car seat, and Flynn's already over there talking to him. So they're keeping each other company while I'm recording this. So yeah, this morning we changed a couple of those. I say we, that is the royal we, because I didn't do it. Changed a couple of the skids underneath the header. Dad greased up, made a few alterations, replaced a couple parts on the header, and we are, yeah, good to go. Basically, as soon as the last trailer arrived, we were out ready harvesting, so managing to not lose very much time there, and obviously a little bit of dew overnight. It's never a bad it's never bad for the grain. Not starting first thing in the morning, you like to kind of burn the worst of it off. So he's just working his way around the turbine. Not always easy to do the delicate work when you've got 35-foot header. So Dad said the field next to me, the other side of this concrete lane, wasn't the best really, and the outside round of this field also was a bit disappointing, but the inside is very good, very good. So that's a positive. I believe this field, it went in a little bit later, and it was power harrow drilled as opposed to using the focus strip tilling it. As ever, I'll do a quick grain store update. Just walk around, you can see we've got the pipes in. There is a cap on the top of that one there, you can see, to stop any grain going in the top of it, so we can get an extension on if we need to. These ones are in. This is the second row. Got some out the back as well. Obviously we'll put another row in around about where I'm walking now, and another row in front of that, and then we'll see kind of how full the shed gets. But this is what you're looking at here, is about 280 acres worth. This is obviously yet to be dried. 280 acres worth of about 710-ish acres that have got to go in here. So yeah, it will be reasonably full in here. We don't want to go too high with it, but at the same time you want to go high enough so that you've not got to raise it further towards the front of the shed as such. You want it to be as even a pile as possible, so it's difficult to get a decent judge on exactly how well your crop's going to turn out as to how high you want to stack it each year. We are likely going to be drying some oats in the next week or so, so rather than it coming through this discharge point, they'll go into the dryer, and there's a second discharge point that discharges into the yard, so we'll have a trailer underneath, and we will chip those oats directly from the dryer. We'll come out of there straight into a trailer. Obviously that prevents any oats going in the shed or us having to move this pile out the way to ensure no oats get mixed with any wheat, so we're able to dry and keep it all separate from each other. Those oats are to be stored kind of 5 miles down the road on the farms, in the farm's grain store. We've got Lewis back now. He's coming in the yard with the rolling trailer, driving a 6250, so we'll watch him reverse in and tip. So Lewis just backing in, coming in at a bit of an angle to get it over to that side of the shed, out the way. Made a bit of a horseshoe here for the guys to aim for, and that'll keep it away from the dried grain at the back. As I mentioned before, when we're tipping up in here, you've just got to be careful. Make sure you tip empty and the trailer's fully back down before we try and go back out the door. I've obviously mentioned before that I get pulled onto trailers during harvest, but thankfully I never had to pull the grain trailers. So I'm not the best at reversing them, not the best at operating them, and I'd imagine I'd probably end up ripping off that piece of wall above the door, forgetting to let it all the way down before I drive off. So that's all done. Lewis brought this load from the field that I left Dad in earlier. Me and Harry moved that pickup to the next block, and I dropped him back there as we weren't going to need all 4 trailers at that same block, so we've got the pickup moved. They then moved to the big field I mentioned, and Lewis is going to head back to that big field now to get his next load of the day. Will's just brushing the grain off of the back of the trailer, make sure we don't waste any, leave any behind. And away he goes. So it's not just the tractors that need their refueling. Got the older Bowser just filling up the dryer with fuel as well. The burner on the dryer runs on diesel, and the rest of it runs straight off the electricity. Beauty of having a big bin here is you can load up the next load before the first one's been discharged, meaning as soon as it's empty, you can set this auger running, and as soon as that's empty, it will start filling again, and it's not waiting on you to fill it up, as it's already been done while this is warming up and drying. An order of 6 trailer tyres was needed just to cover us now for grain and then maize harvest. Make sure we've got enough to cover any blowouts. So back to the combine. So they finished off that block we were in this morning, and then he headed into Bideford and down to Barnstable to the next block. You see him here, Dad working the headland of the largest field on this block. This is at Coden Farm, Bishop's Taunton. which you'll soon see from some of the drone footage. It's between the quarry and Coden Hill. Again, another block of land with some pretty lovely views around. So at the moment you can see Dad working along that headland tram line, Harry in the 8R370 behind him, again pulling the Joskin Drakkar as always. To this point, this block hasn't been quite as productive as some of our other winter wheat this year, but we'll see come the end of the whole block how it compares. So yeah, I've done a few drone videos, sped a few of them up as well because I got a bit above the field and just kind of showed some of the progress that the combine makes. So sped that up so as not to waste too much of your time. And here we've got, which is quite good timing, Harry ready for a tip. So we just follow them as they work their way along the near side headland to where I am. As they tip on the move, Dad can continue to cut the crop. So as best we can, we'll straddle that row of straw next to the combine with the tractor and trailer. And rather than commentate the whole way through, I'll stick a little bit of music on here just to get through the next couple of minutes. But there's some pretty good drone videos there, so I'll leave you with them. Dad's been round the field once there that you've seen some of that drone footage from. He's now putting that tip into Harry. You can see he's working along this same headland that we started recording him on. So far, these two fields, possibly the worst that we've harvested so far this year, as a block at least anyway. But we'll see once we're in the middle of this field. We'll see what the mid was like compared to the headlands, because the headlands are always not as well performing when it comes to the entire field average. So at the moment in the operations centre, I've only got the headland obviously to go by. Once we know for sure what the yields are looking like, I will give you all an update of kind of which blocks performed well, which varieties performed best, and give you an idea of what our kind of average yield across the year was looking like. As ever, it'll be a mixed bag. Even within the same block, we've had fields that have been quite disappointing, and other fields that we knew would never be quite as high performing as others. The block we're in now is literally just behind Coden Hill from the very first block we started in, which from my earlier videos you'll have known was especially two of the fields were very, very good, and that was a variety called Beowulf, and the wheat we're in at the moment is Champion. Waiting to see what Dad's next move is here. So from here we'll be working the main body of the crop on the inlands of the field, and then we'll be able to get a much better idea of how this field will turn out. This block's about 40 to 45 acres, and you'll have seen from the drone footage this field is the majority of that. It's about 27, 28 acres. We've got Lanky behind the combine at the moment, and we've got the old quarry that he's working towards. Harry's loaded and on his way back out down to the grain store. Bit of North Devon show traffic to contend with now from the route we've got to take down the 377, but that is it's always the risk you run at this time of year. Hopefully it won't hold us up too much. A lot of it's coming back towards Barnstable, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. So we'll call it a day for now. It's Wednesday done, or very nearly done. After this field, I'm not sure whether Dad will plan on moving tonight. He may well move tonight, purely because it's easier with the combine, less cars on the road. Back down a bit closer to base, but I don't think any more will be combined tonight. So in relative terms it will be an early-ish finish in terms of actual harvesting, but not so early if they do choose to move the machine. Yeah, that was Wednesday. Similar obviously to how the last week or so's gone with harvesting, but that is the season we're in, and that's most important job at the moment. We have had Ant out tanking today as well, obviously before oilseed rape drilling, as he was yesterday, and we have sprayed off, well, not sprayed off, but sprayed our some of our beet for its first fungicide. So we've been busy elsewhere as well, but for the most part we're worrying about getting that winter wheat in and getting it dried. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll keep trying to answer any questions you've got and keep up to date with any queries, etc. And for now, yeah, I will sign off there. Cheers.